Gesture drawing is so easy that it's difficult. Keep that in mind while we enter our second class in how to draw. My name is Daniel Pinal Negrete. I am a character designer and concept artist, and I am here to talk to you a little bit about gesture drawing. Now, what is gesture drawing? It is a type of drawing that is not based on contours nor details. It's based on the relationships between the different parts of the body. This is often called flow or rhythm, while I'd argue that they are different things, and I will cover it a little bit in a little bit of time. Now, why is gesture drawing important for us in figure drawing? Basically because we'll learn how to get the essence of the pose before adding details. Then when we add details, the actual pose comes to life, and we can say that we did a great figure drawing. If you just copy the contours of it, unless you're some sort of human camera, you won't have that much of a gesture. It can be very realistic, but like many photos out there, you probably end up with somewhat stiff poses. So you want to focus on movement so that the viewer can see movement and can see life in your drawing. Okay? So now let's cover about what I talked to you a little bit earlier. Flow and rhythm. What is flow? Flow is probably the most important part of a gesture drawing. It's about leading the eye of the viewer through the figure, or through anything you're drawing. It can be applied to many things, but right now we're talking about the figure, okay? So it's about having a path for the eye to go from point A to point B. Okay? So we can do this way, or we can do probably this way, or this way. The fact is that we need to go from point A to point B. And as long as it's easy on the eye to follow that line and follow from A to B, it's gonna be a good flow. In gesture drawing for figure, you probably want your point A to be the head of the model. I'm gonna cover this constructive approach for the head and the limbs and stuff a little bit while. Now, so you want your point A to be the top of the drawing or the head of the drawing. Okay? And from here you add a line for the neck, and you start leading the eye through the figure. Okay? You can see I do repeating lines. I will explain it in the rhythm portion in a little bit of time. Now, this is flow because we have gone from point A, which is our head, to point B, which is the bottom for a picture. Usually it's the feet of the figure, but if you're working only on the torso, it can be the hips, or even it can be the rib cage. Okay? So you want to go from point A to point B. Now this is flow. So you can see the eye travels really easily from the head to the neck, to the rib cage, and from the rib cage to the hips. Okay? Now, why I separate flow from rhythm? Because rhythm is not about going from point A to point B. It is the element that lets us travel from point A to point B. Okay? So flow is about achieving that goal, going from point A to point B, while rhythm is like the car which lets us travel that road. Okay? Rhythm is a concept that is mostly used in music, so we don't really associate that with drawing. But it's basically the same concept. In a music piece, we have probably a beat, okay, which is leading us through the music. And in drawing, it's the same thing. We have several lines which are leading the eye through the drawing. This type of line is called asymmetrical curves. And a little bit of a fancy name for saying that where one ends is the middle of the next one, but yeah, it's asymmetrical curves. So the basic concept is that you have a curve like this. This is the curvy part, and you start the next line right here, like this, and you repeat the process as many times as you want, and it ends up with a path for the eye. It's really easy to travel from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. The eye travels very easily through these forms. You don't want symmetrical lines because you end up with a kind of a snowman effect. Okay, like this. Yeah, this. We have a snowman effect here. And we don't associate snowmen with a lively effect in our drawings. They are balls stuck up together. So you want to avoid symmetrical lines. This is a no-no. Okay? Now, we have covered rhythm. We have covered flow. Okay, flow is the path. Rhythm is the car by which we will travel that path, or the rhythm, the beat of our music, whatever it is you would like to call it. We have covered these two. Okay? These are the rough part. Now, when we are designing our gesture, because gesture is some sort of design and composition, once we are designing our gesture, we want to give a look also to how the different parts of the body are moving through space. This is achieved by cross-control lines. This is a core part of gesture drawing and of almost any drawing you do, so please put a lot of attention on what I'm about to say. So, cross-control lines are lines that travel around forms. For example, if I have a ball here, sorry, I'm not very good drawing balls in my pen tablet, but here you are, some sort of ball right here, okay? This is a flat view. You wouldn't know it's a ball, a three-dimensional ball, until I say it, because it's just a circle-ish thing. So cross-control lines give the depth to our drawing. In the moment I do this, you know it's a sphere or a ball, okay? And if I do this, you know where its frontal part is going for, okay? Now, why is this so important in gesture drawing? Because just with flow and rhythm, well, you can have incredibly awesome drawings that way. It's gonna be hard to tell exactly what the person is doing if you don't have the reference image right next to the drawing. For example, if I were to draw this, try to tell what this person is doing. It's kind of difficult. What is the front part? What is the back part? How is this going on? Okay? So, cross-control drawing, and a concept I'm going to introduce in a few moments, which is called line 1, line 2. So, line 1, line 2, and cross-control are of utmost importance when doing gesture drawing. So, we apply cross-controls by finding what our shapes are doing. In this case, it's going down. Probably this is the front part, you can see here. Okay. Here is some pinch here. Something like this. So you can see that this is kind of readable. You can see what's the front of it. You can see what it's doing in space. It's clear. Okay, now we have more information. What is line 1, line 2? Before we move on, I need to explain this because this is a very basic concept, but believe me, you most of the time will skip it right away and you won't pay attention to it, and it's really useful. Most of the things in human body can be simplified into cylinders. Okay, many people like to simplify them into boxes. Okay, but I really don't like this method that much because it's a little bit slower. So I like to draw cylinders. Cylinders forever. Yes. You can even draw some cross contour to show more perspective. Now, line 1, line 2 is a concept. It's not a technique. It's a concept. It says that line 1, right here, and line 2, say these two, will always be parallel no matter where the figure is going for. Even if it's totally receding from us, like here. Okay, it's like this is the bottom plane of a cylinder, and you will know where those lines are. But line 1, line 2, okay, even if they are going that way, we have these two lines always parallel. Here in the example I just drew here, you can see that here's line 1 and line 2, which are parallel. Okay, I know I told you don't do the symmetrical curve thing, but it's only on the flow part, because once you start adding details, it's okay. You just need to follow what you know about an anatomy. Okay, so line 1 and line 2 is already covered. Wrapping lines and moving through space is already covered. I just want to make a few notes for you to know how to use wrapping lines. You need to have a purpose in just drawing. Everything you draw, no matter what you do, needs to have a purpose so that it's readable for the viewer. So for example, if I draw two lines, line 1, line 2, want to draw a cylinder, I need to know where the cylinder is looking. That's why I draw these specific lines. You don't want happy accidents. You don't want to rely on those accidents who end up good, because they're accidents. You can't control them, and you can't rely on them to get stable results. So, draw these two lines totally thinking about where our shape is going. In this case, I want it to do this. Okay, I want it to be receding from us. Okay, so I draw the two planes of it like this, and I can draw wrapping lines follow the same thing. As things recede from us, you will see that the highest peak of the curve will be towards the direction they are moving to. Okay, this is basically drawing half ellipses, but ellipses are very complicated, so I'm just giving you a few notes. If you want to know about more about ellipses, please go to perspective drawing class, and yeah, I will be doing some perspective drawing, but it's in another class, another day, another time. So yeah, we have this. We want this to recede from us, so we draw these ellipses which are going around the surface. This. If we want them to go towards us this way, we can draw the same two lines which will always be parallel no matter where they are going, remember. And now we can probably this. Okay, sorry, I'm committing a mistake here in where our little arrow is pointing. Yay. Okay, I also commit mistakes sometimes. Yeah, here. So you can see how these lines where it's receding from us are like this, and the ones who are going towards us are like this. Okay? You want to know these two, you can have a shortcut for perspective and depth in your drawing. So the next spot I want to hit is how much to work on a gesture drawing. Let me tell you right now. So, how much to work on a gesture drawing? It depends totally on you. That's the only truth I can say about how much to work on it. Because I like to work them really hard. Okay, if you have seen some of my examples, I post them on the main post in Sacred forums. If you see that those examples I put there, I like to work on them hard. I like it to look good. But it depends on who you are, how much knowledge of anatomy you have, and how far you want to take that drawing. And gesture drawing, for example, if I were to totally dismiss this and only use it as a reference or as a layout, I would probably end up here. Same example, okay? Here. This is my gesture drawing, and I won't work on it more because then I will start placing the rib cage, pelvis, everything, okay? Or probably I just want to leave it like this and call it a gesture study, and that's it. It's totally okay. So don't press too hard on how much do I work it. Is it good if I work it too much? Work it as much as you want. Okay? Gesture drawings are awesome stuff. They are completely up to you because it's totally creative. It's how you feel the pose. It's not about copying or being exact. It's about how you feel it. Okay? So don't worry about how much you work it. For example, I like working it as I say. Sometimes I like working with boxes actually, but kind of boxy, not total boxes. Okay, like this. I like working them hard. And this is something I wanna talk to a little bit also about this area here. Right now I'm just completing this, okay? So this is our gesture drawing. I call this complete, but then I know I want to practice my shading, so I start adding a little more muscles here, more anatomy. Yeah, now I start shading. Okay, like this, yay! I'm shading now my gesture drawing, but as you can see, gesture drawing is still there. Okay, this is still a gesture drawing, even if it doesn't look like spaghetti or a stickman. It's still a gesture drawing. It's just a different kind of gesture drawing. That's why I asked you to please send me your best shot at gesture drawing, because it's so personal that I need different approaches to critique each one of you. Okay? Now, how much to work on this drawing is already done. We're already done with it. Okay? Now, what I want to talk to you about this area here and this area here is a concept called pinch and stretch. Another big concept of gesture drawing. It's a concept that, as line 1, line 2 says, that these two will always be parallel to each other. Okay? Pinch and stretch tells that if this is the angle and there is a pinch, there will always be a stretch on the other side. Why is this important gesture drawing if we are not talking about details? I said it's only about the relationships of things. This is because it helps you to understand the form. But we'll look for a reference, and let me. So right now, well, here, where is pinch and where is stretch? Okay? In a pose like this, we need to see it from another point of view. This is the head. It's going like this. Okay? Here, it's pinching. Okay? And this is very useful because now we know that if here is a pinch, here will be a stretch. Okay? So this is totally important and basic for figure drawing and for gesture drawing and any kind of drawing. Pinch stretch. If there is pinch here, there will be stretch here. There's pinch here, stretch here, okay? So that's what I want to cover on this subject.